What is wrong with Jayden Daniels' elbow? This guy is a doctor. This is Brian Sutterer. Sutterer, I just met her. I'll workshop it. But this is a doctor, and he's going to tell us what's wrong with Jayden Daniels' elbow. So this picture has been popping off. It's trending. It's going everywhere. At first, it looks, well, I mean, at first, at second, at third, at fourth, at fifth, it looks fake. I mean, it looks like a WWE action figure that wasn't made by WWE. This is like an off-brand action figure where, you know, the elbow, the joint part that's when you know, back in the day when I was growing up, the WWE action figure, all action figures really, their arms were stiff and you could only move them up and down. So you were really restricted by what you could do with action figures. I remember my Dragon Ball Z action figures were like that. Then we had the technological advancement that they could bend the joints. They made the joints bendable so you could do all kind of cool stuff. And man, that's when life really took off as an action figure fan. But that's what this looks like. It looks like, quite frankly, it's disgusting. So a lot of people saw it and they said, oh, it's fake. It's obviously an AI generated photo or it's fake or whatever. The doctors came out and said, no, this ain't fake. There is a reason for it. We will hear in this video what the reason for it is. But this is, you know, when you first see this, it's kind of crazy that Ian Rapoport put this out there. Like, Ian, you couldn't find a better photo? You didn't notice that you chose the photo that makes Jayden Daniels look like, you know, some abomination, some like Frankenstein creature? Like, you couldn't have found a better picture of this guy? But let's listen to the doc, figure out what's going on here.
Following Jayden Daniels' Pro Day today, Ian Rapoport shared a tweet with this photo, causing a lot of people to become highly concerned about this significant amount of abnormality we can see in Daniels' right elbow. And in this video, we're going to take a closer look at whether or not this is real, anything to be concerned about, or just a really bad Photoshop.
So when I first saw the picture, I thought, no way this is real. I started Googling all Jayden Daniels' elbow, Jayden Daniels this, and trying to, because it's not just his elbow. It looks like his bicep is kind of off. I mean, it looks like his forearm and hand were a separate action figure, and then they jammed it into another action figure and like forced it into the elbow and bicep portion. And the bicep and elbow portion, I mean, I'm getting sick looking at this. And it looks like the elbow and bicep portion are split open. Doesn't look real at all. I mean, it is one of the craziest photos. The fact that it's real is mind-blowing.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and my goal on the channel is to teach you about the medical side of the sports world. So yes. I saw this photo here, and I'll admit my initial reaction was that I thought it had to be a Photoshop. I thought it had to be fake. I even tweeted about it, saying this thing must be Photoshopped. It just looks too ridiculous. That was before I understood all the previous history and saw some previous pictures, and I'll admit, now I think it truly is a real photo. But what is it? The two bones of the forearm are the ulna and the radius. And the ulna has a prominence on the back that is the olecranon process. So whenever you just bend your elbow, that pointy part that you feel on the backside is part of your forearm bone called the ulna, and we call it the olecranon. There's an area around that olecranon called a bursa, specifically the olecranon bursa. And
so I have heard of a bursa sac. So professional wrestling is getting another mention here. So Tommy Dreamer, a professional wrestler, I remember he told a story once of his bursa sac, I guess, filling up with fluid. And he had like this giant, I guess, ball on his elbow. And the way that he, according to him in his story, the way that he got it fixed was that he asked one of the other wrestlers to hit it with a chair. And whoever the other wrestler was, hit the bursa sac with the chair. I guess it kind of pops and the fluid goes away, and I guess it fixes it. So I have heard of a bursa sac. In my mind, a bursa sac was like a big ball of fluid. It was not this disaster, but
sometimes people can get inflammation or fluid in that bursa, and we call it olecranon bursitis.
Yes.
That's likely what this picture is just capturing. And it's just such a funny angle, position, all the torque on his throwing arm. There was so much swelling there that we're seeing this deformity in the elbow because that's fluid in the bursa of his right elbow, specifically that olecranon bursa. Now, I agree, this picture still, it looks like there's some abnormal shading around the biceps here.
Yeah, honestly, the bicep is what throws me off. Because, I mean, I can understand the whole bursa sac elbow thing, but the bicep is what, like, it looks like that part. And I don't know if it's just the shade of the football or the weird shadows being cast or whatever, but like if he straightens his arm, I can understand the elbow being inflamed, but I can't understand where the bicep goes. Like that part to me is the weirder part of the photo, is the top, like the top part of it. Because if you just look at the elbow, look at the very tip of the elbow, where it looks like a little mouth, like the thing in Alien that like jumped out of the chest. If you just look at that, it's like, okay, you know, I can definitely tell that if your arm's like this, that's going to look a little weird, but it doesn't explain the bicep unless there's so much swelling around everything that it looks like that. Like the bicep connects, you know, it connects. Like if you're throwing, like if you go to throw, I mean, you can see the peaks and the geeks right here, but if you go to throw, the bicep is still connected to everything else. Here, it looks like it's completely disconnected.
Here, it almost looks like his elbow is dislocating whenever you take a closer look. But what's probably going on here is the ulna is coming down, stopping about right there, and then this whole pointy part
that's
is fluid
sac.
underneath his skin, specifically within that olecranon bursa. Now, if we look next at our biodigital anatomy tool here, if we turn around to the right upper limb, of course, this is going to be the tricep muscle and tendon coming down the back side of the elbow. And then we have those two bones that I mentioned of the forearm. So right here, we're going to have the ulna, that hard prominence.
I do think it's kind of funny that nowadays you can be a doctor, go to school for however long, you know, intensive studying, all of that, get your MD, and then, I'm not saying this is what this guy did, but then all of a sudden be like, you know what, I'm quitting. Quitting my time as a neurosurgeon. I'm actually just going to do YouTube full time. I'm just going to react to sports injuries. I'm just going to do YouTube videos. So yeah, I'm making way more money on YouTube than I am as a surgeon. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm not saying this guy did do that, but not to get on a tangent, but any field, any niche, I think could do something like this. Like I love these videos. Like these videos, this is so much better than watching whatever, Michael Wilbon or somebody talk about the photo. Like having a doctor react to what's actually happening, tell me what's actually happening, show me on this skeleton, show me what's happening, show me this just pathetic tricep on this guy. You know, no forearm, no grip strength. You can tell weak wrists on the skeleton. But this is what YouTube's all about. This is the power of the internet. So I need more of this.
The olecranon process. Then we're going to have the radius on the outside, and this little potential space, some people call them a little kind of fluid-filled sac, is going to be the olecranon bursa. And bursa are all throughout our body. We have them in all of our joints, and they're there to help provide some cushion and
fluid,
decrease the friction between where muscles and tendons interact with each other near the joints. So you have a lot of bursa scattered throughout the body, and sometimes these bursa can become inflamed, causing bursitis. Now, to make this even less likely to be a Photoshop or a spoof, doing some nice Google search here, reverse image search with that picture, we can find the original source. So this is that photo. It was shared in a story back in 2024, January 2024. But if you look at the date, the picture, it says here from November 4th, 2003, Alabama versus LSU. And we even see the credit with the USA Today sports team. So the picture, there'd be no reason why this photo in a story.
Yeah, so it's definitely not Photoshop. Like this is, so he's doing a little reverse engineering here on the photo. So he's tracing the original photo back to this young man, John David Mercer from the USA Today. So John David Mercer wouldn't be covering the game, takes a picture at the game, then decides to Photoshop Jayden Daniels to look like some kind of horrible Frankenstein creation. He wouldn't do that. So this is more proof that it's a real photo.
Written 4 months ago, would have been a Photoshop picture from back in 2023. Now, if we couldn't find any record of this picture further back, then I would say, yeah, maybe it is something that's been edited or made to look worse. But the fact that we can trace this back to a story with clear citing of the source from 2023 makes me even more confident that, yeah, as crazy as it looks, this probably is real. We also,
I mean, this is definitely a photo. Ooh, now look at this. Now we're a little CSI situation. So, you know, now we have a picture of Jayden Daniels. I'm guessing is after that game with the bandage on the same suspect disgusting elbow. So he must have had his sac drained. Pause. Whoa, that was insane. My fault. but he must have had his sack drained, and that must be what that bandage is.
Also know from more research that, of course, Daniels was known to have bursitis in his elbow during that season and had some type of procedure, presumably to drain it. So we can see here in this photo, Daniels clearly has a bandage over that right elbow, presumably because they did either an aspiration or some type of surgical procedure to drain the fluid out of that bursa. And so everything still, again, lines up with that picture number one being old, and two, being a real picture legitimate from olecranon bursitis. So then is it a reason for concern? No.
These are no big deals. Obviously happens all the time. Get a little inflammation, drain that sac, and then boom, you're good to go. Not a big deal at all. You know what's another niche that I love? Another niche like category of YouTube and whatever else is hoof cleaning videos. Have y'all ever seen these things? Hoof cleaning videos with cows and horses and stuff. It's like people, I guess there's a trade where you go, I don't know if it's a veterinarian or whoever, but they go and clean the hooves of these animals. So what they do is they, set it all up. They wear like a GoPro on their chest or their head or something, and they go through the whole process of cleaning it, how they shape the hoof and all that. And they're kind of talking over it. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating stuff. It's like the ultimate video where it's kind of like a Law & Order SVU episode where if I watch about 10 seconds of the video, I'm absolutely hooked. I'm mesmerized. I can't stop watching it. Once I'm locked in, I can't stop watching. So hoof videos, random stuff like that. It just goes to show that, there's like now content creation or viewing content is so driven by these niches and these hobbies that anything and everything is out there, and that's why I always say, we're going on so many tangents, but that's why I always say lean into it now more than ever. Whatever you like, whatever you want to do, whatever your passion is, lean into it. There ain't no such thing as cool anymore. You don't have to do one thing. When I was a 13, 14, 15-year-old, the only thing you had to do to be cool was wear Abercrombie and Fitch. That was it. If you wore some Abercrombie and Fitch t-shirts and you had a puka shell necklace and you had a bottle opener in the bottom of your flip-flop, you were the coolest kid ever. That's all you had to do. It was easy to be cool back then, right? Now there is no cool. Nobody's cool. So lean into your hobbies, lean into your passions, because there is an audience or there is a creator or there is a group or whatever for whatever you like, even if what you like is hoof cleaning videos.
It's not. There's no reason to suspect that this is going to cause any long-term issue, any long-term problems for Daniels. This is just a really funny looking picture. The momentum, there's fluid right there in that pocket. You think about how hard someone's throwing.
Yep.
It must have just caught at the right angle to where it looks this absurd and this ridiculous. I'll admit I was wrong on this one. I do think that this is in fact a real picture, but again, would not be any cause for concern unless there's recurrent bursitis. But this was earlier in the season. This was a while ago, and so I would not suspect any residual issues or concerns about the stability, the health of Daniels' elbow going into the NFL. Let me know any thoughts or questions down below.
Great stuff. Really enjoyed this video. Really enjoyed the information. Go give this young man, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, go give this fella a follow. If nothing else, go give him go check out his channel. I hope he does hair tips. That's what we need. I need to know how to get that much volume in my hair. I mean, what are you putting in there? Just the absolute thick, voluminous. Y'all hear this motorcycle trying to ruin my video. Like I feel like I'm at Sturgis, back in the where's Sturgis, in like Wyoming or something. It's like a big motorcycle festival. Sturgis, South Dakota, maybe. Someone look up where Sturgis is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Oh, he's got a YouTube pillow. Questionable, controversial yet brave selection. Let me know what you thought about this. Thank you for watching. Fun video. Enjoyed it. Enjoy your weekend. I know I will mine. Keep your elbows safe. Keep your bursas safe. Keep those bursa sacks empty. And I will see you in the next video.